Looking at the week of work today, Kyler is not going to be ready to start the game, so Jacoby will start. Obviously, you feel good about Jacoby. I do want to give it the next couple days to see if Kyler could possibly have a role on game day. So that's with that. Garrett and Walt are progressing well. Got to see him practice today. And we'll make that decision in the next 48 hours. BJ had a really good day. It was good to see him out there. He looked really good to me, honestly, but he will not be up and playing. Other than that, I think everybody's out there. We had a really good day yesterday. It was spirited. It was fast and aggressive. So that was good to see. Coming out of a bye, when you're going, and I know we had the bonus day, but you're always looking to kind of see our tempo, coming out of the bye. Now sitting back there with Monty, it was a good day of practice. So we got to follow that up today, and then got to play good football to win a game here.
Is Kyler's injury, is there potential to be long-term?
Yeah, I don't. What does that really mean? You know what I mean, Josh? Everyone's different. Every player, every injury is kind of unique, and he's been pushing. We've been pushing. He is getting better. He's had some more work this last week, but he's, like I said, he's just not ready to go yet. But as far as, obviously that position's a little bit different because you got to, have a plan ready. That's why I'm just saying, Jacoby's starting. But if you can have a role, he can have a role. But you take it one day at a time. But I know he wants to be out there, and he's doing everything he can. It's just he's not quite there yet.
Why could that be the case where he's ready to be active but not ready to start?
Yeah, that's a good question, Teo. I'm not trying to be coy, but there's a lot of different scenarios that can happen in 2 days that you would make the decision what's best for the player and best for the team to that be the case. You know what I mean? So you probably don't know what I mean, but I think you do know what I mean, So weird things have happened outside of your control for 48 hours leading up to a game, and things change, and so that's kind of the reason.
Is IR on the table for him?
As I sit here today, no.
Is it purely health related that he would not start?
Yeah.
With Ojulari, is 3 weeks enough time for him to get back into full football shape to get to the point where he can play?
Yeah, you're not going to like this one, but we'll see, I hope, but that it's, with all our guys coming back from injury, and certain guys that, all the different designations, if they get hurt during the, Garrett, as different than BJ, different than Walt, down the road, Trey Benson, LJ Collier, those guys, like it's different, so you don't know. You just take it one day at a time. But, he definitely, like I said, he had a good day. It was good to see him out there. I was actually a little bit surprised how fast and how he, I guess for better lack of term, cut it loose yesterday. I thought he did a good job.
How is Trey Benson doing?
He's doing well. He's getting better. He's back into the mold of not just, our return to play things. There's, early return to play. You're just in the training room the whole time with the performance staff and with the athletic training staff. And then as they get closer, you start assimilate them into meetings again, so they get their mind back on football a little bit too. But he's at that point right now. So we'll see how it goes.
Is Amari DeMarcano ready to play?
Yeah.
How has he handled everything since the Titans game in terms of
comes to work? He's a pro. He does his job and tries to get better every day. He's a good teammate.
Does Michael Carter being on the practice squad impact how you would deploy him if he is elevated on game day, or do you treat anyone who's active on the roster on game day the same?
Same. That's why I say that's a good question. Like our practice squad guys know, like, you know, it's a moment's notice, you know. Things could change today. Like what I just told all you guys, you know, right now, that could change here in 2 hours, you know what I mean? But that's the reality of the NFL. So, because you're going to go practice for an hour and a half, and I don't exactly know what's going to happen, you know, with our health. But, you know, they have to prepare like they're going to play, just like everybody on our team does. That's what I want their mentality to be. Like, you know, roles change quickly, you know, and I even think like too, like if we got guys, some guys know that they're backups, but they prepare to be the starter. Like you don't know when your role is going to change like that. So they got to prepare like they're going to play, and they got to go in and play well.
Harris was saying earlier this week that among the offensive line, they've talked a lot about wanting to get back to being road graders in the run game and kind of get back to that identity. I'm curious, like, is that something they're talking amongst themselves? Is that something you've tried to make a priority coming out of the bye again?
Yeah, I think that's a cool storyline, but I think coming out of the bye, there's two things that Coach Fry and Coach Cook, when we looked at the 7 games, what we thought would be the biggest return on investment, where we wanted to put emphasis, and one of them related it to the run game, and the other one the pass game. But yeah, I mean, I want our O-line to play with a lot of effort and violence and block the right people and get on people and move them laterally and vertically. So that we can run the ball efficiently, you know. But it takes all of those guys, and then it goes inside out. It goes, what's the quarterback doing? What are the tight ends doing? The receivers doing? What are the backs doing? So you need all 11 to play well to have a productive play.
With Kyler coming back on Monday, were you anticipating that he'd be healthy enough to play, and this is something that kind of progressed throughout the week, or did you kind of have that sense back then that there's a chance he might not?
No, well, I mean, what I said is what I said. I mean, you know. Just take it one day at a time with them.
You hear a lot of coaches talk about it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. Monja River comes to the season. Other coaches say it's 17 consecutive sprints. I'm curious how you view football season. Sprint today. That's what we'll be doing. I know that. You got to maximize the day, you know. You know, I was actually thinking about your question the other day. You know, because it's like, wow, like that kind of is the truth. Like, what does separate winning and losing, you know? And it's like the week of prep. That's why every day counts, every second counts. This day's just as important as the bonus Tuesday to yesterday to tomorrow, even though we're not, you know, going fast on the grass. That walkthrough and meetings, like those are important. And then all the different things of psychological prep, your health bucket, your physical bucket, all those things matter throughout a week. And then when you get to game day, you got 60 minutes, maybe if you go in overtime a little bit more, but it truly does come down to collectively, can you play better than the other team, you know? And that's what it takes. So to me, it's a 60-minute sprint, you know, but today's practice is a sprint too. You know, you got to have urgency. You got to be on edge the right way without getting anxious. But everything matters.
With the running backs, obviously, Amari has a unique skill set. You guys like him as a pass catcher, third down type of back. How do you see Mike and Bam's skill sets being different or similar?
Yeah, I mean, they're all three of them are a little bit different players, what they bring to the table. But I love how Autry trains those guys. Like, all three of those guys, I feel good about playing on first, second, third down. I really do. Now, do each of them bring a little bit different skill set to what that role looks like? Yes. But I don't hesitate to put any of them out there and any down and distance.
Bam talks about he basically went 2 years without regular season reps just because of injury in his situation.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and he's found sort of a rhythm and comfort. You know, do you see that over these last couple of games?
Yeah. Over the last couple of games and in practice, it shows up. Like you could tell he's a little more comfortable. Just the more touches that he gets, you know.
So it'd be good to see. He's doing a good job.
What do you like about how Jacoby operates the offense?
He's got really good command. Understands what we're trying to get done with each play, and he's a vet that he doesn't really get fooled a lot, you know.
With Bam, do you see him as the starter right now until Trey gets back?
Yeah, I guess, yeah, because he'll be the first one that goes out, but all three of them to me are have their own role, and we'll see who's running it well, and that guy will probably honestly get a little more touches, so I like our plan going into the game, but you got to be able to adapt in game by what your eyes see too, by what you see.
Denver had a lot of success slowing down this offense last week.
Yeah.
How much can you take from that tape for the Cowboys offense?
Yeah, I thought Vance did a really good job. They got a really good unit, They took the ball away. That helped. Denver's offense stayed on the field, which helped, if you look at that time of possession, that game. And then when they did a pretty good job in the run game. When they got to known pass, they won a lot, whether through, pressure or coverage or whatever it was. They did a really good job. They affected the quarterback, did a good job on those receivers. That's a good unit, though. So, we obviously that was in the cut-ups, but we're different than them. Our players and how we play schematically, we're a little bit different, but try to take something from everybody.
When a team has a big-time wide receiver one, give a little extra attention. What sort of challenge is it when they have two guys who might check that box?
Yeah, Bo, you got me nervous earlier in the week when you asked that. Yeah, it's a numbers game, and you can't have it's tough to put two guys on each guy. They're how they deploy. I think Shoddy does a really good job. Clayton does a really good job with those guys, like how they deploy them, what they do with them, what they're asking them to do, how Dak has answers to what you're doing. It's a big-time challenge. I mean, they're putting up 40 a game for a reason, So it's not by chance. They're a well-oiled machine. They got really good players, and they can beat you a lot of different ways. So we got to be ready to roll.
Will showed up on the injury report yesterday. Will Johnson, will we practice today?
He'll be out there today. He got a little bit of tightness. My precaution.
We talked a lot about explosives and the takeaway battle with stats you really like to highlight. Are there any stats that you kind of look at, and overrated might be the wrong word, but I didn't think you know where I'm going?
Like, man, this is a long answer. I look at them all. Here's one for you though. I think this one gets overblown a little bit. Rush yards per game, right? To me, the better stat is yards per carry. Defensively, yards per completion, or the whole air yards thing. I know that gets thrown out there or whatever. You look at the efficiency of it too. QBRs is a interesting thing. Boy, we're going down a rabbit hole now. I'm just going to shut up. There's, here, and because I was thinking about you too, Teo, with the stats thing. And I look at everything, and I do. That one that they have out there, the DVOA, that one, or the expected points, whatever, that takes into consideration, the value of each unit in the game, throws out, junk ball, as I would call it. That's a pretty good one. But there's stats. If you just look at one stat, or when you guys when Mark gives me the game book after a game, and you're like, oh, this was good, and this was bad, this was good, this was bad. Looking at one stat and trying to paint a picture, I think you can go down the wrong way. Yes, that's what happened, but you got to look at why did that happen, and how does that impact the other things that went on in the game too, That's why I say, the two winning stats through the course of, time is the ball and explosive plays. So But you got to do everything else well too to win. You really do.
What's the first stat you look at after a game?
I don't have to look at the paper for that. Wins and losses, man.
Beyond the score, like, was there something you look at,
The
like,
score. I typically know if we won the ball or not, and I typically know if we won explosive plays. So those are the first two I look at. I look at those at halftime too. How's it going? You know what I mean? Offensively, defensively, special teams. A lot goes into that, but you start to feel a certain way if you see at halftime where the score is and how it relates to the ball and explosive plays where the game is trending at that point. Even though the score might be bad or good, the game's trending in a way that you got to be aware of.
this is a little off topic, we're doing a story around the league on coaches' pregame rituals. What's your day like, before?
It's boring. I really don't have one, Josh. I get up, I go get espresso somewhere, go over the game plan with the two coordinators, get on a bus, go play football.